Hey everyone, happy Halloween and welcome to Organic Authority's Wellness Warrior Facebook Live show. We are thrilled to have you. Today we are going to have some spooky fun. My name is Laura Klein and I'm the co-founder of OrganicAuthority.com. Today we have with us Andy Hnilo, founder and CEO of Alitura Naturals, a natural skincare line. Today we're going to talk about some exciting stuff like what constitutes real, natural, and non-toxic skincare nutrition, overcoming obstacles, resilience, and more. Andy has a little bit of a crazy story on what launched him on this path that involves a near-death experience, and I'm going to actually let him share his story. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Hey, thank you for having me. And then hello to the Organic Authority audience.
Well, it's so awesome to have you here. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. You have quite an interesting story, and I think it's also really interesting that we have a male that got into the skincare business. Now, right. Traditionally, kind of like in conventional beauty products, there are a lot of men involved. But usually in natural lines, it's kind of women leading the way. So let's hear it. What happened?
I know. And so I was crossing the street in 2011, March 20th, Saturday night. I just finished up dinner with some friends and was going to meet up with another friend. I was crossing Melrose and I got hit by a westbound heading Land Rover that hit me into the eastbound lane, and I was run over by a Toyota Tundra right after that. Luckily, I had lost consciousness after the first point of impact, and so I don't remember too much of it. But next thing you know, I'm getting my clothes cut off me in the middle of the street by first responders, and EMTs got me to the emergency room, and I woke up in an ICU bed with my chin poking through the bottom of my mouth. My whole jawbone was broken in 5 different places. I had a severe compound fracture of my jaw, and I had 7 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and I was on a morphine drip, and I had no idea where I was or what happened. And I had 2 friends of mine in the ICU room with me, and both of them just had their heads in their hands and were just completely distraught. I was out of it and a little loopy from the morphine, and I quickly found out the severity of the situation, and that was just thinking about it every time just kind of takes me back to how my whole world is rocked.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's truly a traumatic experience. And at the time, tell us a little bit about professionally what you were doing, because you weren't into skincare.
Well, I was into skincare. Ever since, I had acne a little bit in college, and that's where I became very passionate about ingredients. And I couldn't figure out why I would always have some type of irritation. And I was using Noxema and Clearasil at the times, and Neutrogena, highly synthetic and toxic products, I believe. So I started just researching certain ingredients back then at 18 and 19 years old and going, wait a minute. So I switched from, say, Neutrogena face wash to Dove because it was a little milder and had 5 ingredients. Now, Dove isn't the greatest, but it was pretty. I found out that certain things were derived from coconut, and I was like, it just made sense to me at that age, almost 20 years ago, that a natural route made more sense than something synthetic and man-made. So ever since then, I became more passionate about not only the ingredients, but just finding different things that worked. I used my first clay mask when I was 21 years old. It was Aztec healing clay, one ingredient. It was calcium bentonite clay, which is my central ingredient for my clay mask at Alitura. But ever since then, I would use it probably once a month or so. And then after that, once I moved down to LA and I became involved in the entertainment industry, I just knew I had that in my back pocket for any type of audition that was coming up. I started mixing certain ingredients like the bentonite clay with Rasul clay. It became a little creative outlet for me before the accident. I was into it. I would do it every Sunday night before that week of auditions. I was a model and an actor in LA, but and so it just gave my face a nice, bright and clear complexion and appearance. So I would show up to the audition pretty much camera ready and looking looking like my pictures and being as like focused and ready for the role, knowing that I did everything that I could to prepare for that audition. So, but after that accident, obviously that was accelerated, and I knew I had that mask that I was using at the time, but I knew I had to turn that up and start adding really rich ingredients. That's where the research came in, and studying spa treatments, and then also adding my own little twist with things like colostrum and pearl powder, ginseng. But the kelp powder and the vitamin C were two common ingredients, always, not always, but found in a lot of spa treatments and a lot of masks and facials. So I bought those. I isolated those ingredients and started combining them. I moved everything out of my bedroom into my living room, and just became it was fun for me because I would see activity and I would feel results. And I was unrecognizable, seriously, from head to toe. I had abrasions.
From the accident. You suffered like severe abrasions. And
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had my jaw wired shut. My front teeth were all nubs. These are bonded in. So they were gone. I had a titanium plate inserted up top, one on bottom, 7 broken ribs, and a collapsed lung catheter in. So that's when the research, I've been an athlete most of my life, and to not be able to run or work out or barely get up to walk to the bathroom, it was extremely humbling. And that's what just really kickstarted my the momentum into finding out how I could recover as quick as I could.
So you also had to heal a lot of stitches too, and scarring. I mean, right. Because that can be a really big deal, particularly with people who suffer from acne, and say like adult acne, or even scars if they've had an accident.
Right.
So you used these ingredients it sounds like you did heavy research. You went out and you started researching the products that were in kind of the high-end spas. Is that correct? And then purchasing the ingredients separately and kind of mixing it in your apartment?
Right. And then I remember one time I got a facial when I was probably 25 or 26 at this spa in Beverly Hills. And while she was doing it, I was like, what is that? And she was like, she had to pick it up, one ingredient, and she gave me the source for that. I went home and just isolated that ingredient and bought it. And I added that to my existing mask at the time. So I would ask a lot of questions. I would call, I would do a ton of research. And then a lot of things didn't work. But the things that did, and that I was able to combine with certain ingredients, were just, the synergy that developed into the clay mask is unbelievable. I mean, So it took a while.
The ingredients of your clay mask are really interesting. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, this is, can I call it like your signature product? Is what you launched with. And you've kind of touched on the ingredients and like the 6-hour grass-fed colostrum is so fascinating to me. American ginseng. I've taken ginseng as a wellness supplement. I've never applied it to my skin. So he's got American ginseng in here. He's got freshwater pearl powder, 10% L-ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, which is amazing. Rasul clay. How do you pronounce that?
Rasul
clay.
Rasul clay.
Iolite,
yes.
Iolite, calcium bentonite clay, which we kind of talked about, kaolin clay, organic kelp powder. Now, these are really interesting ingredients that I really haven't seen in a lot of natural products. Well, I don't want to really say that, but just they're very unique, and so it really caught my attention. Like, tell me a little bit more about this 6-hour grass-fed colostrum. Like, what is it? What does it do? Where does it come from?
It's extremely nutrient rich in enzymes. So when it's collected within the first 6 hours, you're getting it in its most its livest state. So it's as far as like the baby cows are fed first, and the surplus is then dried and concentrated and then packaged. I was taking it internally as well, and it's so expensive. It was kind of just an experiment of mine to see how it would blend, and the synergy of the ingredients when combined with things like the pearl powder, the ascorbic acid, and then the different blend of clays. But with isolating that, I would also on the side, and it's also in my night cream as well, but I would make little paste to follow up my mask right here on the scar area. And just after the circulation was brought to the surface of the skin, and after my derma roller treatment, and the dermis was already opened up, I would apply it to that area where I had scarring to escort the ingredients just past the initial layer of the skin, because after using the derma roller, and I felt activity and I saw results in that. In 2 weeks, the abrasions were gone. The scarring, obviously, you're not going to get that type of gash down in 2 weeks, but the scarring had been significantly reduced. I'm telling you, I don't know if you can see that right there, but it was at least 2 inches. Luckily, I have a before shot, but it was about 2 inches long. And obviously, your body recovers well when you're eating well. And I was young and good shape when I got hit, but I really feel like the combination of what's now the night cream, but the mask to bring all the minerals and the circulation brought to the surface of the skin and getting those stagnant capillaries circulated all around my face and neck area. And then following that with a really rich base of ingredients. It was never meant to be a product. This was never meant to be a business. I was purely just trying to get back to my old self and feel good again. And I definitely did that, but it was a long road to recovery. There was about 1.5 years or 2 years of just pure self-experimentation, which led to going forward and testing out on friends and family that were interested in what I was doing. It was just I would take pictures and post on social media, and that kind of gave me, it was my thing. It was just purely a creative outlet for me. And then someone found out about it.
So what about the freshwater pearl powder ingredient? Tell us a little bit about that. What does that do in your mask?
So the geishas apparently have been using that for centuries to even out their skin tone and really make a mild, pale complexion to signify that they haven't been out in the rice fields, in the sun working all day. So it was kind of like an elite mentality, but at the same time, it's rich in calcium and has a mild bleaching effect to the point where it just creates this even skin tone, completely eradicates, not completely, but it's been known to eradicate sunspots and create just a nice smooth skin tone on top of that. But both of those ingredients I was taking internally, and it led to just experimenting and trying it out and blending it in different amounts and different percentages into my existing clay mask, the colostrum and the pearl powder. But it was really important to me to use the colostrum that was collected within the first 6 hours. There are only a couple sources out there that can claim that in the United States, I believe. I think, I use Cinertech colostrum out of a small town in Wyoming, and it's just it's extremely effective.
And does that come from, what is the colostrum? Does that come from the milk? What is, remind me?
It's the mother's milk.
It's the mother's milk.
Yes. But I just want to make sure that the babies are fed first, and
right.
Surplus is then collected. Sometimes we'll get some questions about that. But
got it. Yeah. Got it. All right. And then American ginseng, that's really interesting too. Again, like, it's an adaptogen, you take it internally for wellness as an ingredient in skincare. That's new to me. So what does it do?
So American ginseng, it's another Chinese herb that has been used for vitality for centuries. And I was taking that internally as well. It adds to the particle size of the clay, or the American ginseng, is so fine. And the herbalists that I was working with mentioned that the people that handle the ginseng, their hands don't wrinkle. So I just started mixing that in my clay, and it just sat on the face a little bit better. It definitely added to the emulsion. And I felt that it just evened out my skin tone to a point and brought a little bit more circulation and brightening effect to the clay mask. It has to be in there. So yeah.
And it doesn't wrinkle. That's like crazy. Is this also in your cream too?
It's not in my cream. I thought about it. It's better off as a powder, just to isolate it and put it already in the powder mask. Since it's just we didn't do a pre-mixed mask yet. We're working on one in the future that's already made. But possibly with that one we'll add it. But it's in our cleanser though. It's in our pearl cleanser.
Okay.
We use a ginseng stem cell extract actually.
Okay. And kind of, I want to touch on the Rasul clay. A lot of people are familiar with the calcium bentonite clay, but this is also kind of a new one as well that happens to come from Morocco. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the thing about clay is it's highly composed. It's just minerals, and so as we age, we're depleted in those minerals. So it's important to reintroduce them back into the system. Your skin being your largest organ, it's just a highly absorbable point to do so. Rasul has been used for hair treatments, hair masks. It's loaded in minerals such as silica, which is a high component of collagen, which
Right.
where after we just get past that initial layer and then really maximize absorption, it's essential in just maintaining that elasticity of the skin.
Mm-hmm.
It just creates a really nice brightened skin tone as well. So just through that circulation of getting those capillaries moving throughout the T-zone, neck, behind the ear. And just it's important to keep that area just flush with minerals, not only through supplements, but also through products that you use. And that's where the mask comes in for me.
Okay, really, really interesting. Okay,
Yep.
so is this mask for all skin types? Because, you know, some people have sensitive skin, some people have oily skin. Like, who can use it?
We've had, very few complaints on it's for all skin types. It really is. I have very sensitive skin.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these products I base off of mine. I do my testing, and then when I feel comfortable with it, then we go through with the beta testing. But it's for all skin types. I would just be careful if you have open sores. Like if you have a very harsh case of acne, I would start off with using water first rather than apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar really adds a nice toning effect and like an astringent quality as well, and just kind of eats up some of that bacteria and pulls out that infection. We have countless, just beautiful transformations from people that have used our products. So I encourage people to read our testimonials and read the reviews of people that have just, eradicated their acne, got off acne.
I've seen those.
Yeah,
they're fascinating. Yeah. And so when you say, so you're actually, some people can, you're suggesting to add apple cider vinegar to the clay and then apply it to the face, correct?
Absolutely. That's my favorite way of doing it. And then I'll add a little clary sage, lemongrass, orange oil, frankincense, ylang ylang, and then a little methylene blue I'm starting to experiment with, but that's it's pretty interesting. Just really targets the mitochondria of the skin cell, and then during that cell turnover process, it just really accelerates the.
That's awesome. Mitochondria is really important too, not just for skin, but also your energy. So if this product is targeting the mitochondria, that's pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah, and it's just the whole idea of using the derma roller. Have you ever used a derma roller before?
I do. And for those of you who are not familiar with the derma roller, please tell our audience what a derma roller is. I use one and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So ours is made of titanium. It's disappointing that some companies out there use plastic, and stainless steel isn't that bad, but titanium is optimal for me. And so they're little titanium spikes. We have 0.25, 0.50 intermediate, and then 1 for the advanced. And what it does, you roll it and make tiny little X's and plus signs and target if you have an area that it's bugging you a little bit for fine lines, crow's feet, wrinkles, the T-zone area where you get the frown lines right in the center, or forehead, or behind the ear as well. What it does is it opens up that area and just really maximizes absorption. So you're getting the most out of your ingredients and the products that you're using, whether it's mine or some other brand, but it's just, you're getting past that initial dermis. And then
so are you rolling before or after application though, your product application?
Before. Okay.
And then you roll before and then you apply everything to your face.
Right. Yeah, just massage it in and then just take your time and massage it in 3 to 5 minutes, let it dry. And then I like to hop in the shower, and just because it can be, the estheticians don't have a problem with that, or sink, doesn't matter. But then just finish with a cold rinse to close the pores, and then follow with a moisturizer. And it's just, it's my favorite thing to do in the morning before I shave. It kind of raises those hairs for the men out there. It's the best pre-shave. I used to always get ingrown hairs or some type of razor burn or irritation. I don't anymore, because I swear it's because it acts as an exfoliant. And then all the circulation is flowing and brightening the surface of the skin, but also it lifts the hairs to the point where it just wipes the hairs off clean. So it's a nice pre-shave treatment as well.
Okay, that's awesome. I've never heard about that.
Yeah.
So, and your products are pretty unique. I mean, they're men and women can use them. Are they? Would you call your brand kind of like unisex?
Yeah, yeah. That's we're 55% women, 45% men.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I just had this vision for like a Kenneth Cole, Hugo Boss, Lexus packaging, branding, all of that. I didn't want to go like for men, for women. I really just wanted to create the best products with the best ingredients I could find that I would use. And people have been giving me a hard time even before I had a line just with ingredients. I'm a little obsessive with certain things and just pinpointing certain toxins, parabens, stearates, fillers, harsh preservatives, colors, fragrances that don't serve the skin. And so I would
Right.
eliminate those. And then that's what got me into this, because there was always some type of hole in products on the shelves. And so
Right.
what I did is I was like, God, this would be great if it didn't have this or if it didn't have that. And so I would buy those ingredients, isolate them. And my first product I made out of a cast iron pan in my apartment. I still have that actually. It's now my night cream. And it's sea buckthorn. We added a couple plant-derived stem cells, hyaluronic acid, manuka honey, colostrum, chaga. It's
These
amazing.
are amazing ingredients and high quality ingredients as
Yeah.
well. I mean, and kind of on the pricey side as well. Meaning like manuka honey. I mean, and that.
Yeah. We use Weatherspoon too, out of New Zealand, and that's like I think it's $46 at Whole Foods. I don't care. I mean, you only live once, and if I have the opportunity to, and I do, I don't have the big corporate overhead where deciding my price points and my costs and what I have to do. I just want to be known as that brand that will go to any length to create the best products with the best ingredients. I mean, I know it sounds like an infomercial right now, but that's the honest to God truth. It is.
So let's talk a little bit about some ingredients. You kind of touched on it a little bit about ingredients we should stay away from in skincare, because I think there's a lot of people out there that still really don't have a deep level of knowledge about, some of these ingredients can be doing more harm than good. Do you have like a top list?
I would say look for, let's see, PEGs, any PEG labeled ingredient, definitely stay away from. Sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens, stearates, fragrance. I mean, the natural fragrant oils, natural anything like that. There's so many government recognized approved terms to put on your labels. I highly recommend downloading the Think Dirty app, where you can scan barcodes and then find out more about what the ingredients are that are in those products.
Think Dirty app. Okay.
Yes. And then so it gives you a 1 to 10 rating. A friend of mine just pointed up. I'm not going to give the brand name, but he's been using this for years, and they have like a 1 to 10 rating. This product that he's been using was in the hard red zone as far as staying away. And this is a brand that's, I mean, everybody knows what it is. So, I mean, you and it's great because you can just scan the UPC code on the back, and it'll break down every ingredient and then give you an honest review, and then point out the ingredients and what it actually is, and how, and the harsh level of toxicity. And it's good because they're starting to become more. Green beauty is expanding. So ever since I started this, it really wasn't there. I mean, you're seeing Detox, Credo, Cat Beauty, Air One. Whole Foods is doing a better job now, and people are becoming more and more aware. The business and industry as a whole is booming, because people are aware of the fact that whatever you put on top of your skin is going to be absorbed within seconds into your bloodstream. It's really, I believe, almost as or equally as important as what you put into your body. So if you're massaging that in daily, and if you're taking a shower and without a shower filter, that's another big thing, by the way, is I would recommend
shower filters are huge. Maybe you can just touch on that. Why should we use a shower filter?
Because of the heavy metals, the chlor, I believe that the tap water is so toxic, and it's just polluted with the heavy metals, chlorine, fluoride, I believe. And these are toxins that, I mean, you say if you're just sitting in front of it, and your hair quality, you're that close to your brain, your scalp, your back every day. If you're showering every day for minutes, it's just, that adds up. And it may not kill you right now, you know what I mean? But it's just over time that's going to lead to, I believe, illness. So,
and you also inhale it too. So it's just absorbing it, and you also inhale it. And anyway, so shower shower filter is really important. And you may even start to notice too, if you change out your shower filter, your hair is different. It actually may become softer and
Yes,
um,
I have noticed that.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's really, really awesome. You've had such an interesting journey. Um, you've kind of like built this business, and you also talk a lot about resilience, and perhaps that goes back to your accidents as well. On this entrepreneurial path, can you talk a little bit about what it's kind of taken in terms of, what have you done to rebound from setbacks, overcome those obstacles, which many people would probably see as failure. But you had you kept going. What's kept you going?
I swear it stems from my athletic background. It's got to be that. I mean, I've played baseball for 22 years at almost the highest level. And baseball is such a game of failure. You go 3 for 10, that means you fail 7 times. And they say you're going to be in the Hall of Fame if you do that. And that's a lot of failure there. A lot of walks back to the dugout after failing, and then being in the entertainment industry, and then dealing with rejection, and then not booking a job, or being this close, and then losing it to a guy because of your height or something like that. And so I've just become, callous is your brain, callous is your mind. And when this opportunity was presented to me with Alitura, and when Dave Asprey came forward and we invested into the brand, I just took that as because I've been searching for my purpose. I felt like I was underachieving a little bit in my life. I was right around 30 years old, and I was still working nighttime jobs, hoping and believing that I was going to make it in the entertainment industry. But once this has been staring me in the face my entire life, as far as health and wellness, nutrition, and skincare. And then now I get this opportunity. It's like just pouring gas on a fire of absolute momentum and adrenaline. And I was so excited. I still am. And when you have that background of resilience or dealing with failure, you just find a way to succeed. And obviously the work ethic will take you through. In perspective, gratitude, just relentless pursuit of and then of just attaining that goal, setting daily goals, and then knocking them down and working towards knocking them down, whether you achieve them or not. Knowing that you put in the work to do so feels good. And then
I think that's really smart. Knowing that you put in the work, because I think a lot of people can get they can get let down by not achieving their goals, and they actually interpret it as a big failure. And people kind of they get shy about setting goals, and I think that's a really great point.
Absolutely. I mean, if there are things daily that as soon as you wake up, perspective and gratitude have been so important to me my entire life.
Yeah,
that is. I mean, I have a beautiful family, luckily, and it's just health and happiness is all I've ever wanted for them. Ever since I was like 14 and 15 years old, that's just something that's like been my mantra: health and happiness for my friends and family. And so that just extreme gratitude has always been in my head since I was young. And
let's talk. You also talk a lot about kindness too.
Yeah.
And I think in today's world, we could use a little bit more kindness, particularly, with the current political climate. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of violence going on. And it's really refreshing to hear somebody talk about kindness.
I don't get it. I mean, you can change somebody's day with the power of your words. It happens to me almost daily. I don't care who it is. It could be a checker at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, whatever. Just saying hi, how are you? Even if I'm in a little funk, it's happened. I mean, I'll get in my head or whatever, checking my emails, but it's always very important to me just to, if someone beats me to the punch and ask how I'm doing, to really appreciate that and give them an honest eye contact response, and it just warms me. I mean, it's so important to me. God, with this society of just like peacocking and wanting to stand out and wanting to show everybody who you are. I mean, God, just being respectful, being considerate and kind is so cool to me. I really, that's all I want to do. I mean, if you met my parents, you'd probably probably understand. I mean, that's all I know since I've been a little kid, and it's just very important to us to be polite and have manners and be considerate of others. And
So refreshing.
yeah, well, I mean, thank you. I mean, it's just it feels good too. Also,
It does.
it feels good. It just knowing that, you know, through it there. I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast recently with there's some type of it's like a form of therapy. Actually, I didn't know this. I've been doing this with that, but it is a form of therapy. Just active kindness.
It
But
is.
actively doing that. There's a term for it. I wish I had that on me, but I'll look that up. And
Like an active contribution too. It's like you're giving back. You're making a difference in somebody's day and somebody's life.
There's nothing better to me. Seriously.
Yeah.
I really it'll lift me up for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like if everyone is having a bad day, I think one of the things that they can just do is smile at someone, engage in someone, and say hello. And I think it makes people's day. So, oh, Andy, this has been so amazing. If somebody wants to get started, and you know, try out your skincare line, Alitura Naturals, would you recommend starting with your signature clay mask, or where would you recommend somebody start?
Absolutely. I mean, our most popular product right now is the gold serum. The clay mask is amazing. What's in
the gold serum? Like, tell us about the gold serum real quick. Kind of give us the high level.
So it's a 94 certified organic base of sandalwood, frankincense, rose otto. We use rose water as our base, which is a toner in its own right. And then we add plant-derived vitamin A that we source organically from France. We add copper tripeptide, CoQ10, astaxanthin, and marine collagen as active ingredients. And and it's bottled in maroon glass. I mean, that's something that you can apply throughout the day. It has a nice little. It took a while to nail down the color because astaxanthin is so bright red.
Astaxanthin is amazing, by the way. If anyone doesn't know about astaxanthin, I take it internally as well. Again, another ingredient I didn't know you could apply topically.
Right. No, it's amazing. Yeah, it's great before bed. I stack that with the night cream just around the eye area to really seal that moisture in. But the active ingredients, copper tripeptide, it just really helps with the collagen synthesis and develops that thick elasticity, and like just really helps with that subcutaneous skin layer to the point where it just really has helped with my crow's feet around my eye, just with, you know, sun being in the outfield wearing a hat and sun beating down around my face. It's really helped with that. So I think that just staying consistent with exfoliating and then moisturizing that freshly exfoliated area, it doesn't have to be every day. I'm starting to turn into like a 4 or 5 time a week guy, just because I always have something to prepare for, and I like feeling good. And feeling my best. And it's not only about looks, the constriction of releasing a lot of that congestion around the nasal and T-zone and eye area with the mask is unparalleled. That is without question, my number one favorite product. If I had like one thing, and it's a little earthy, but we didn't want to add fragrance to it. I mean, there's a good amount of kelp powder in there, but you can counteract that with essential oils that are beneficial to the skin as well. I use ylang ylang and obviously the lemongrass and sweet orange oil when you combine it with apple cider vinegar. But I love it, and I do it for the results, and I don't want to add any.
This is amazing. I gotta try it. I gotta try your serum. I gotta try your mask. And you know, give it a go. You've really inspired me. So let's leave our viewers with what would be like your top 3 skincare tips, whether they buy your product or not. Just kind of like your top 3 skincare tips that you live by and recommend.
Right. Definitely get a shower filter.
Okay.
Aquasana is great. AQUASANA. And then replace that filter every 4 months, like $30, and you're really going to see, well, you're not absorbing all of those pollutants into your skin. So that's one thing that I would do. I would recommend exfoliating at least once a week. Exfoliating allows those dead skin cells to, exfoliates those dead skin cells and removes those from the surface of the skin, and allows that fresh new skin to regenerate and cell turnover process. And then just I would really recommend using a good night cream, because you're in one position for, 6 to 8 hours. And so I would really recommend to, I think it's the most important time to just reintroduce good ingredients and then rehydrate the skin with good actives as well. And so
what constitutes a good night cream though? I mean, that's like, I mean, that can be interpreted so many different ways.
Mm-hmm. So with me, I know I'm going to keep playing. I was using this a product that would just put it on, it'd be absorbed within, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds. And so I was like, well, I don't know what it's doing. Hopefully there's some activity, but it's going to be gone within, minutes. And I'm not feeling it. I want something that is thicker and that is going to be there. I don't mind if it's still there when I wake up. And that's where the Manuka honey comes in. And obviously I'm talking about my night cream, but I mean, we have 10% hyaluronic acid, which really just replaces your body's own moisture. And then also with the Manuka honey, colostrum, 2 different plant-derived stem cells in our night cream. I mean, I just want something that's doing work for hours, and it's thicker, but it's highly concentrated. But that's anything that is doing work for hours and really just nourishing and hydrating the skin. That's what I want. But some people may want something a little bit more thin, which you can still find. But I want something that's working all night for hours.
Yeah, no, I mean, and well, that offers a fresh perspective and a different point of view because, sometimes, you wake up and it's like, has anything really happened? My skin feels dry.
Right.
And you really want something that's going to stay with you. So,
right.
Andy, I think we've got to wrap it up here. This has been so amazing. I know you have you've offered a 20% coupon code off the AliTuraNaturals.com shop store with the code Wellness Warriors. So if you go to AliTura Naturals, why don't you say it? I want to hear you say it.
So, we actually did Organic Authority. We thought that would be most appropriate, if that's okay. Organic Authority. We could do either one, but Organic Authority at AliTuraNaturals.com. That's AliTuraNaturals.com. And if anybody has any questions, by all means, email me or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
What is your Instagram handle if somebody wants to follow you?
It's at Alitura Naturals, AliTuraNaturals, and I'm at Andy Hnilo, ANDYHNILO.
All right, awesome. All right, thanks, Andy, so much for taking time out of your day to be with us.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. And to stay connected with us at Organic Authority, go to our homepage at organicauthority.com and sign up for our newsletter to stay on top of all the latest wellness tips and tricks for your wellness journey. All right, everyone, happy Halloween and enjoy your day. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.